Okay, good evening. Welcome to the Moreno Valley Unified School District Board of Education meeting. Thank you for being here, at least virtually. I am Board President, Dr. Marsha Locke, and before we begin, I would like to say a few words. Again, on behalf of the Board of Education, I want to say we hope that you are all home, staying in place, and are safe and healthy. As you can see, we are all in separate locations doing our part to maintain our space. Like this across the country, we still have business to take care of and 33,000 students and their families who rely on us. So we can't just stop working. I am very proud of all that has been happening during this unprecedented school closure. Under Dr. Kedziora's leadership and staff, we have managed to continue to feed our students and begin our transition to distance learning. Our school buildings may be closed, but the school year continues. So we are continuing to have our board meetings virtually while also trying to encourage public participation, which is very important to us. To help districts conduct board business during the health crisis, the governor continues to have 2 executive orders in place, easing the Brown Act requirements. Executive Order N-29-20 suspends any requirements for physical presence of board members or of the public at meetings and establishes new requirements for conduct of telephonic or electronic meetings, which is basically how we are allowed to conduct this meeting as we are. Executive Order N-25-20 provides more flexibility for board members to receive emergency updates, but does not permit discussion or action by quorum outside of a duly noticed board meeting. I'm going to ask for your patience as you watch, as you listen, and as you try to participate. If you would like to comment publicly on an item, we have created 3 options for you to submit your comment. First, on our website, you can click the public comment link that we have posted on the front page of www.MVUSD.net on the board agenda. Second, you can email the administrative assistant to the Board of Education at cjauregui@mvusd.net. Finally, you may call to have your comment transcribed. For English, call 951-571-4921. For Spanish, call 951-571-4920. All of the comments will be read aloud by a staff member during open session. We really do want to encourage you to participate. We posted the information on our website, and it should be shown on the screen during this portion. As you can see, we have 2 public hearings tonight, and we will be accepting public comments up until the public hearing is over. Thank you for your patience. And now the Board of Education is now reconvening into open session at 7:04. Roll call.
C.J. Johnson, present.
Jesus Holguin, present.
I can't
Susan
find,
Smith present.
I can't find my letter. What do I do with it?
Harold Peden present.
Marsha Locke present.
Martin Rex Kedzior present.
Paul Birdie, present.
Where is my letter?
Susanna Lopez present.
Maribel Maddox present.
Okay, I'm now going to do a report out of closed session. Tonight, the board met to discuss student discipline cases, public employee employment appointment, public employee discipline, dismissal, release, non-reelects, conference with labor negotiator, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation. I have 2 items to report out on. For employee 195911, by a vote of 5-0, the board took action in closed session to place employee 195911, certificated teacher, on compulsory leave of absence pursuant to Education Code Section 44940, Subdivision D1. The next one is employee 157390. By a vote of 5-0, the board took action in closed session to approve and issue the notice of immediate suspension without pay and dismissal to employee number 157390, certificated teacher, pursuant to Education Code sections 44932 and 44939. Now at this time, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Alexis Ponte, 12th grade student from Valley View High School. If you'll please stand.
What happened to my screen?
I am MVUSD. I'm Alexis Puente. This is my mom and my little brother, Rosalba and Eddie. My other family couldn't be here with us for this video, but I'm from Valley View High School, a senior, and I just got into University of California, San Diego for John Muir in chemical engineering. If you want to accompany us with the Pledge of Allegiance for this board meeting, put your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, now we're moving to E2, dates of future board meetings. As they stand now, but may change, they're for the June 16th meeting and the June 30th meeting. There will be no physical location open to the public for these meetings as it stands right now. The closed session will begin at 5, open session at 7, and that'll be, both meetings will be a regular meeting. Effective July 1st, the time change for closed session will change to 4 p.m. and open session will be changing to 6 p.m. But at this time, there's no change to those meetings. We will now go to E3. Dr. Martin Rex Kedziora will provide the superintendent's district updates and informational reports.
Thank you, Dr. Locke. I do want everybody to know that I want to make sure y'all can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. This report is a little longer than usual because there's been a lot of things that have happened since our last board meeting. So I've told some people tonight that we're going to acknowledge them. And so I hope they're listening. So I want to again remind everyone that even though we're not in school physically, we are distance learning, and our mission statement is still that we want every student to graduate from high school, and we want every student to successfully enter into higher education and to pursue a viable career path. I've had some parents in our district ask me to relay to students that distance learning is very important, regardless of what you're doing or how you're doing it. Your continued learning will help you when you choose whatever profession or whatever you choose as for higher education. So it's very important that you participate, and very important that you do everything possible, even though it may not seem like you're connected to school because you're not in school, you're at home, you are still learning. And that's what's so important and so valuable. In Moreno Valley, we're proud to say that we create excellence on purpose through our 11 commitments. And so tonight, I have some examples that I wanted to share with you about what different people have said in our district. Now, this first one goes out to Maria Saavedra and Sherry Suss, who are nutrition services assistants at Sunny Meadows Elementary, and Edelina Macias. And this is acting in a professional and authentic manner. So on this particular day, this is an administrator in Redlands Unified School District who came to visit Sunny Meadows. And when he said, I arrived and noticed there were 2 ladies handing out lunches in the heat and full safety gear. Every single community member got a warm greeting, and they smiled so big you could see and feel it through their mask. After loading up the appropriate number of lunches, these ladies gave every single person a thank you. I did not get their names, but what heroes these ladies are, icons of class. and examples of outstanding employees. Next, I go into the office to get the computer, and Mr. Palomino, as all of us principals are, was of course very busy. He delivers me the computer again with a warm greeting and a smile, and the computer doesn't work. Instead of getting frustrated because I was now another item to deal with in his busy schedule, he gets on the phone with someone, problem solves, and has me another computer that works within minutes. These three people should be publicly commended for their professionalism and for being outstanding human beings. I was impressed, and I wanted to share with everybody that I could that what they did that day. And I think that's so wonderful. I want to commend those three nutrition services assistants as well as Mr. Palomino. But this is what we see at our grab and go in our district. And I think it's important to know that every time anybody goes, they talk about the exemplary service that they receive when they go to get their lunch. So thank you. And then this next one is from a doctor in Hemet who wrote this about Richard McPherson, a teacher at Moreno Valley High School. And, when sometimes people ask me, what are the teachers doing? What are they doing? And not only are they teaching, but Mr. McPherson is doing more than that. Dr. Gerard Cavallo, chief of surgery at Hemet Hospital, wrote to me about Rick McPherson, stating that Rick McPherson is a teacher at Moreno Valley High School. And he has been phenomenal. He's been 3D printing face shields for frontline workers for the past 3 weeks. These shields have gone to the 3 hardest hit nursing homes in Hemet, 2 community hospitals, various medical clinics that do vaccinations, ICUs at Riverside County Hospital treating COVID-19 patients, emergency room departments, grocery store workers, teachers, and volunteers handing out food and study packets to families. He is part of a small group of volunteers made of robotics teams, teachers, students, and principals, as well as community members who are putting shields directly into the hands of who need it most. We want to thank Mr. McPherson and thank all the teachers for what they're doing to work with our community during this time. The next one is about a teacher at Hendrick Ranch Elementary School. And this parent writes to us, my name is Lahana Lopez. My daughter Alexis Lopez is in 2nd grade at Hendrick Ranch. I just wanted to take a moment to share that Miss Fuerte and the other 2nd grade teachers, as I know they work together, have been doing an astounding job with distance learning. And this is a very detailed letter that they wrote me, and I'm not going to read it all, but it talks about communication between Miss Fuerte and parents is another huge plus. She's always asking for suggestions and trying her best to better streamline work. She encourages feedback and is always quick to respond to any messages. I send her for assistance. When assignments are submitted, Ms. Forte often replies with acknowledgments, comments, and asks my children how they felt doing the assignments. They are definitely a dream team and are doing an outstanding job, in my opinion. I feel like Alexis will continue to get a great education during distance learning and will not fall behind the 2nd grade learning expectations of the school year. And so, Mrs. Fuerte, we want to say thank you for what you're doing with distance learning, and Marie White at Hendrick Ranch Elementary School, and all the teachers in our district, because it's incredible. This next one is about Paul Lansky, who's the head custodian. He's a leader and accepts the responsibility. And so it isn't just, there's so many people that are in a pandemic that help a district live to rise and create excellence on purpose. This just says, I just wanted to give a shout out to our Vista del Lago head custodian. This is from the principal, Eric Swanson. As tough as the situation is and the many moving pieces on a daily basis, Paul has played an integral part in decisions being made to ensure our staff and students get what they need, as well as keeping our campus safe and disinfected. Even though he's the only custodian, and this was for the past month, on campus right now, he works diligently to keep it running and safe. His diligence is much appreciated by me and my administration team. So thank you, Paul Lansky, and to every custodian. And there's another one about another custodian, no, this is about a teacher, excuse me, Anna, I'm not going to say her name right. I don't think I've tried this. Pantoja. I've been working on it, just like my name. So I want you to know that this is an amazing letter, but I get these over and over, and I just want the public to know. Let me just see. I just want to, first of all, this was from Wendy Ashley, who is a parent in our district at Palm. And Miss Tenhoja taught at Palm, but transferred to Vista Heights. And she helped Wendy Ashley's 2 children with their History Day project. They called her, and she went above and beyond, and she didn't say no, and she met them after school. And, you know, I just want to say that, you know, this is amazing community support. And in this letter, she said she's been the greatest advisor and the cheerleader we could have ever asked for. The time and expertise she has given to these kids is beyond anything I could have imagined. We're now going to the California State to compete, having advanced from the County History Day, and we couldn't have done it without her help. I want to say thank you, and that MVUSD school sites encourage or even require the students to do a History Day project is wonderful. My kids have learned so many skills by participating in National History Day for the past 2 years. And Ms. Pentoa, thank you. And thank you, Mrs. Ashley, and thank your children for doing a History Day project. And this next one is the head custodian at Butterfield Elementary School. And you know, I think during a pandemic, people notice sometimes what people are doing more because there's fewer people at work. There's not the whole building full of people. And so they notice all these things. And so Esmeralda Chalfant, Dr. Chalfant, who's the principal, she said, in the spirit of putting students first, Charles stepped into support mode. He supported during the site's time of need without any reservations. They were short one administrator, and he just stepped right in. There were heavy tables and rolling carts he rolled out and set up, and Butterfield had a line of cars and walkers in line even before 11 o'clock. As the site principal, I truly appreciated the help, and I celebrated the willingness to help during these difficult times. He definitely exemplified and modeled the following commitments: are personally and collectively responsible for our actions and outcomes, intends to be successful and collaborative, and enhance community through action. So we want to thank Charles Copeland, the head custodian at Butterfield Elementary School, for supporting the school on a difficult day and every day. So thank you. And then I want everyone to know we continue to work on our 4 goals and our 14 outcomes in the district. And that's why distance learning is so important, because you strengthen your skills, and when you come back to school or when you're at distance learning, however you may be learning, you meet these goals and you meet these objectives. And so as we go through the rest of this PowerPoint, everything is related to these 4 goals and these 14 outcomes. And goal 1 is that we want students to be proficient in language arts and mathematics and technology. And goal 2 is we want all students to graduate from high school. And goal 3 is that we want all students to learn in an environment where they thrive. And goal 4 is about partnerships. And so on the corner of each slide, you'll see each of those goals there, and that's what those goals are from, is this master goal sheet. And so the first person I want to recognize this evening is a 9th grade local hero from Valley View High School. And her name is Mia Lee, and she made more than 1,000 cloth face masks. And she has just, you know, she was in the newspaper, the Press Enterprise, and Channel 4 News did a story on her. And tonight we'll send her a certificate, but it pales in comparison to what she's done for our community on her own, and just did this without anybody, you know, asking her. I mean, we have such wonderful students, such wonderful employees. And then our next one is another one that just is, you know, Donna Woods from Canyon Springs High School. Anybody that works in our district or in this area knows that we have one of the most exemplary CyberPatriot programs in the country. Well, now everybody knows that at the White House and everywhere, because Betsy DeVos called Donna Woods herself and told her, thank you for instilling in the students the knowledge and passion for cybersecurity. She was selected out of 43 nominations from 23 states based on her demonstration of superior education accomplishment, academic achievement, indicators, and leadership contributing to educational excellence. And so she's one of 2 educators that were chosen this year in the country. And we're very proud that she's from Moreno Valley Unified School District. And I want to say thank you to all of her students and Chris Lorenz at Valley View High School, who also works in that program, because it is amazing, and all the technology people here in our district that help support that. And then to add to that, the Southern California Cyber Challenge, you know, I just want you to know our kids are still entering into contests, even though they're not in school physically. This is the Cyber Patriots at Valley View High School, and they scored 5th place out of 16 finalists from 5 Southern California counties, earning a $250 prize. And they competed against 750 teams to qualify for the finals. And I just want to say congratulations to Efri Zamaro, Lex Kinsey, Ryan Sanchez, Jonathan Hernandez, Timothy Lohr, and Edgar Melendrez. And the finals were held May 9th. And thank you, Chris Lorenz, for the leadership that you provided, Mrs. Johnson, for this program at Valley View High School. And then the district continued to earn praise across the state, and we just earned a Model Student Attendance Review Board Award. And the California Department of Education said to us, you can lead other districts in developing effective multi-tiered practices. And so the goal of a model SARB program is to minimize school student dropouts, promoting student success, outstanding and innovative programs, a multi-tiered system of reducing chronic absenteeism, the use of a Saturday STEAM Academy, a district social worker and social worker interns assigned to school sites, and the use of a community wellness center to support homeless, foster youth, and families in need. I want to say congratulations to Dr. Sheffield and Amanda Deniston and Rafael Garcia, who was a part of the program, and Patty Rucker and Vicki Chavez, and all of the team that works at Student Services, because they truly work together to provide these services, and the behavior specialist in our district. And we're very proud that we were given this award this year, and congratulations. And then we just, you know, we're always applying for grants, and I'm very proud of Diana Lamar and the Ed Services team, and Jody Oliver and Katie Sandberg. This is a $25,000 grant that can lead to other funds, and it's a one-time planning grant. And as you know, we're trying to expand cybersecurity within our district. And so this is for Palm Middle School. And the focus is to help students design their custom academic and career pathway plan with a cyber academic pathway school site counselor. So students starting in 6th grade at Palm can have a plan designed so that when they go to college, they know exactly what they want to do if they choose that program. And then, you know, in this is a lot, I know. And then I want you to know that today, and I haven't heard the results yet, but we've had more students this year compete in the state history day than we've ever had. And these are our National History Day finalists, and they competed today. And I don't have any results yet, but I'm looking forward to hearing what happened to see who's going on to national. But we're very proud of this many students. It's 30 students who went to the state level. And then Canyon Springs High School, I want you to know, I've been talking to principals, and I want you to look at this. This shows the academic rigor of our school district and the increase in what we're doing. And I want you to know we've worked on this. And so this year, the Golden State Seal of Merit, which is awarded to students measured by their CAS scores and their academic achievement of grades are B or better, 79 students earned that this year, and that's quite an increase from the prior years. And 83 students received the seal of biliteracy from the state. And I want you to know that each of our high schools is moving in that direction. And that's more students than we've had in the past. But, you know, I just want to thank the parents and the students. And this is why distance learning is so important, because, you know, this shows that you're really taking your learning seriously and working together. And then our students at the middle school level, I'm very proud of Noel Garrett's students. These students were in a contest with the county called Directing Change. And this is on students create a 60-second public service announcement video to prevent suicide or help change minds about mental illness. And all of the students have a good chance of advancing to the state, but Chloe Hayes got first place of all middle schools in Riverside County. Wow. And if you get to see their videos, they're online, and they're really quite powerful in what students what they put into this. It can make you feel bad, but it also makes you feel good that they're trying to influence and support their peers. Ruben Martinez was in the top 3, and Genesis Garcia from Mountain View Middle School under the direction of Noel Garrett. Really proud of that program. And then at Valley View High School with Chris Lorenz, his students also finished in the top 3 in the county. Mario Sandoval, Daniel Munoz, and Chris Neva. And so the most entries ever, they had 1,085 from Riverside and San Bernardino counties, and our students finished in the top 3. And I just want to say that is the leadership and guidance of parents, and it's also the teacher and the students listening and responding and feeling the connection. So we're very proud of those. And then I want you to see what happens when a student gets in a pathway. And this is something new at Vista del Lago High School, but they have an emergency medical technician pathway, and they work with the Ben Clark Training Center. And this was a student, he's a 2018 graduate, but he was accepted to the Fire Academy. And he was a student in the EMT at Vista del Lago in 2018, but look what he's doing. And this is what we try to get students to find their passion, whatever their career is, whatever they want to be certified in. And so we're very proud of that. Today, you know, I was going to wait, but I thought, you know, it's not going to be until June. But today, our anti-bullying club at Canyon Springs High School with Michelle Gomez was awarded the Foundation Award for the Hero Award to the Canyon Springs High School ABC Club from the Anti-Bullying and Riverside Medical Clinic Charitable Foundation. This comes with a cash award, and the ABC Club has shown exceptional efforts in being kind, inclusive, aiding to end bullying in their school, in our school and our community. And I want you to know, because of Michelle Gomez and because of her students, more of those clubs are being developed at each of our schools. And I want to thank them for what they've done. And this next one, y'all, is so nice, but Whitney Martinez is the teacher. And I want you to know, the board, the students in the lower grades really appreciate the Chromebooks. They love y'all for this. And they wrote a lot of notes to me. And I wanted to share these because they're really sweet. I'm not going to read every one. I'm going to flip through some of them. And, you know, I just think they're really, really nice. But, I mean, isn't that sweet? Don't you? I told her class they were going to be on tonight. And, you know, I hope they're all watching. But
are you going to read a couple of them?
I am, because they wrote some to y'all, specifically the board.
Okay.
And so I just wanted you to see some of the ones that students wrote. But this one here on page 31, it says, "Dear Dr. Kedziora and School Board." Now, these are written by these children. They're in the 2nd grade. And I appreciate you very much. I can read books on Wonders, do math on Think Central, and even see my friends on Google Meet. Thank you for everything that you do for us. Thank you for the Chromebook. Isabella Herrera. Isn't that sweet? Yes. And then this one, that was another one from Madison. And then this is another one to the school board. I wanted you to see the ones to the school board because, you know, they all wrote beautiful letters. But thank you for letting us use our Chromebooks. I can be on Tinkercad, Google Classroom, Clever, and Scratch. I appreciate all the things you do for us. And that's from William. And then, you know, there are others here. And I just, you know, I read these and I just thought I would share. And then this one here, thank you to the school board for helping us stay safe and giving lunches. I miss school, but I like learning at home, Brielle. And so that's, you know, these are very kind and very heartfelt. And, you know, this one says, thank you and the school board for helping us stay safe and learning at home, from Leanna. And so there were others. And then this one, thank you, Dr. Kedziora and the school board for helping us stay safe and learning at home, Xander. And then there's this one, and then there's another one. And then this is from the teacher, Whitney Martinez. This is to the Board of Education. I just want to thank you for your continued support during this difficult time. You have made learning opportunities available to teachers, and you've ensured that students continue to receive lunch and breakfast and you were able to make it possible for my second graders to receive a Chromebook if they needed one. Your leadership is truly appreciated. Sincerely, Whitney Martinez. So we want to thank her class and tell them how much we appreciated their letters and writing to us and sending that to us. And then I want you to know everybody wants to show their love and their concern. These are the MVUSD librarians, the library media assistants, and they put this on Facebook and they put this on different social media. They did this themselves because they wanted students to know how much they cared about them and they missed them. And then, we received a lot of teacher appreciation family emails, and I wanted to share this wonderful picture from Manal and her family. The Kahn family truly appreciates all the teachers from Hendrick Ranch. And as you can see, they showed all of their children in different grade levels as they're learning and being supported by Hendrick Ranch. And I think that's very nice. And then this one came from Mrs. Rockwell, who's the TK teacher at La Jolla Elementary, from Mateo Mendoza. And he wrote in his, they take a picture of what their writing is and send it to the teacher on their parent's phone. And I think this is so nice. And Dr. Maggiore, the principal, shared this with me because it made her cry. And he wrote, I want to go back to school. And, very, very, very kind. And then I wanted everybody to know our timeline with our COVID-19. But we continued, April 15th and 16th, we did first and second grade Chromebooks to all of our students. And then May 8th, we did TK and kindergarten students. They received Chromebooks. And I want to thank Susanna Lopez in Business Services and all of our district, Dr. Verdi and Maribel Maddox, and all of our support staff, because everyone went to every school and helped deliver these to students. It took a huge team effort, and our technology and innovation and assessment team got these Chromebooks ready. And right now in this boardroom, it looks like Santa's workshop because they're repairing and even have more Chromebooks that have been delivered because, we have to repair and then replace. But we're very proud of what's happened here in such a short period of time. And it took a lot of effort by all of our teams. And then I want to say I feel bad for our seniors. I know that it's hard to feel this because you're missing all your senior activities. But again, we have these wonderful banners that have been hung at every school. We have the ones for March Mountain and Bayside. They're not listed there, but they are at their schools. And we're doing many things for our seniors. And I want you to know that we did a survey with all of our seniors, and we're looking at, with different health situations, we had many students respond to this survey, but 67 want a traditional graduation, and we know that was a majority. And then a virtual graduation was 9, and postponement is 56. And we did this for a week, but we've also had lots of other responses. But I want to let you know, as seniors and parents of seniors, we hear you. And we know you are frustrated, sad, and angry about the end of the senior year. We are too. None of us 10 weeks ago would have predicted that we would be in the world we are living today in. As soon as County Public Health closed our schools and extended the closure through the end of the school year, we had to postpone our senior activities. And all of you know this. This is a public health crisis, and as such, we look to the medical experts for advice, not our politicians. We are continuing to monitor public orders and work for the county office of and work with the county office of education and county public health to evaluate options for celebrating you, the class of 2020. We recently asked all of our seniors how they would like to celebrate graduation. The vast majority wanted to wait until later in the summer to hold a celebration where it was safe, but we're looking at what else we can do. We have banners at our high schools. Each senior will get a lawn sign. They're going to be delivered on Thursday, and they're going to be delivered soon to every student. You'll get to pick up the sign at Grab and Go. Our top students have an additional opportunity to get another sign with their name on it. And we're also doing Adopt a Senior. We just put that out on Facebook last night. And this is for the Moreno Valley Education Foundation and Hearts United. And they wanted to do more to help our seniors. And so we continue to look for ideas. We continue to look for ways. And thank you for writing us. We want to hear from our parents and students. We also want you to know we're doing what we can given the circumstances. And very soon, we'll be meeting with the principals of our high schools and our students to determine what our next steps will be as far as what we're going to do to celebrate the class of 2020. We are not canceling graduation. We are postponing it until a later date when we can have a larger celebration. But in the meantime, we will be doing some type of celebration that's in line with Public Health Department. And so I just want you to know that the board, the community, everyone, we are listening. Everyone's concerned about you. And I don't want you to think that we're not listening. We're just trying, that the situation changes daily, and we're trying to make the very best decision so that everyone stays safe and healthy. I'm going to move on to grab and go lunch now. And I just want to say, Carla Leiter and her team, I was just at the schools today, and just the enthusiasm and the love for children and families that continues. And as of today, we've served 819,000, almost 820,000 meals, and it's one of the highest in Riverside County. And we serve lunch and breakfast between 11 and 1. And even though we stopped serving at 6 sites, nearby schools still provide that lunch and that support. But it's just truly an act of humanity and an act of support. And I thank the board for their support, and I thank the community for coming out and being part of this. And then I want you to know our Hearts United Champions for Peace has continued to see what they can do to rally for children in our district. And we're continuing to meet by Zoom. And on Monday, they were at Landmark Middle School Victory Outreach Church. And they not a lot of people. This was few because we have to have social distancing and no congregating. And on Tuesday, they were at Vista Heights Middle School and Canyon Springs High School. And then tomorrow, they'll be at Sugar Hill Elementary School. And those are different clergy that we're working with. And they're also involved in the Hearts United program. So I want to thank all the people in Hearts United and the Moreno Valley Education Foundation. And then I want everyone to know that since this pandemic, our teachers have been learning, and they're learning how to work in a new environment in their home. They lived in their homes, but now they're teaching from their homes, just like students are learning from their homes. And I want to thank Dr. Buster and her team, all the professional development specialists, because they've done 11,925 hours in 31 days since April 2nd. And that's an increase of 340 hours from last week. And so I just want you to know that we have a distance learning counseling program. Thank you, Maribel Maddox. She's the chief academic officer and oversees this. But it's truly quite something. And, you know, everybody's getting better every day. And they keep learning new things and being supported. And then I want you to know we continue with our facilities. And everyone's excited. Kids send me pictures, and they tell me, and I don't know if you can tell this, but this is the stage slab that was poured this week. And Sammer sent this to me and his team in facilities, and students send me things too. And I just want to say they're so excited to see this happening in our community, and that work continues. And then on Friday, you may see a helicopter over Valley View High School. And that helicopter will be there around 7 a.m. And it's going to bring the air conditioning units that'll be lifted to the roof of the gymnasium. And, you know, our gyms, the first one that was air conditioned and heated was at Moreno Valley High School. We have Bayside that's air conditioned and heated, but this is part of our equity for our 4 high schools. And this is really an exciting moment. So when you see those helicopters, they're going to be used to remove lifting hardware and then move it off the site, but then move the other hardware on there. And thank you, Sammer, and your team for sending this to me and letting us know about that. Anthony Pipkins continues to beautify our older buildings. And I want you to look at these murals that have been painted on the campus of March Mountain and March Valley High School. And these are to give the school more attraction, more people to feel more connected to the school. Instead of just looking at a brick building that's older, you look at a brick building that has newer art murals painted on it. And the students helped with some of the design. And I just think it's amazing what they've done over there. And it's on the quad, so the students can see this while they're having lunch and breakfast and socializing. And then I want you to know it's Happy Teacher Appreciation Week. And this week is California Day of the Teacher on Wednesday. Last week was National Teacher Appreciation Week. And thank you all for, showing appreciation for our teachers. And, it couldn't come at a better time. Nurses Appreciation Week was May 6th through 12th. And we have 10 nurses in our district, and every school has a health tech. And I call the nurse all the time, Candy Jonathan, and she helps me with every decision I make because I always get her perspective when I'm making these decisions. And it's one of the things we all should do is think of the health perspective when we're determining what's best for everyone. And then Classified Appreciation Week is next week, May 17th through the 23rd. And I want you to know our district really shines brighter because of the classified, certificated, the parents, the students, the school board, all of the people who work here to make our district, and especially during this time, we can't say thank you enough. And we are so proud of each of you and what you contribute to our school district during this most difficult time for you and your families. And then as we end tonight, and thank you for hanging in there with me. I know this was rather lengthy, but important to mention all of those. A lot has been accomplished, but I also want to say happy birthday to Dr. Marsha Locke. You're all celebrating it with her. And she is excited to have her birthday be tonight so that she could celebrate it with the entire community. So happy birthday, Dr. Locke.
Thank you, Dr. Ketzer. At least you didn't share my age. So, wonderful, great report. Thank you. Very, very uplifting. Okay, we now are moving to E4 recognitions. Tonight we have actually 5 resolutions tonight. The first one is E4A, resolution number 2019-20-70, School Nurse Day and School Nurse Week, May 6th through 12th, 2020. Do I have a motion to approve resolution number 2019-20-70, School Nurse Day and School Nurse Week?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Can I get who second that?
I think Susan, Ms. Smith, did you second it?
Yeah, she did.
Okay.
Yeah, I did, but Jesus did too. But okay, fine. Put me down.
That's fine. Miss Smith, it's fine.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Hogan,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Peden,
Aye.
Dr. Locke.
Aye. Okay, motion passes 5-0. Mr. Johnson, would you please present this resolution?
Okay, thank you. I certainly will. School Nurses Day and School Nurses Week, May 6th through the 12th, 2020. Our first resolution tonight is to recognize the week of May 6th through 12th as School Nurse Day and School Nurse Week. Moreno Valley Unified School nurses deliver invaluable services to the district. In addition to providing for students immediate health needs, school nurses are also continually working to promote healthy lifestyles and educate students about the steps they can take to protect and strengthen their physical, emotional, and mental well-being. Now, the Moreno Valley Unified School District Board of Education is happy to approve this resolution, which rightfully recognizes and honors all school nurses of Moreno Valley Unified School District for their continued and excellent services to the youth of this great district.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you.
Now we'll move to E4B, resolution number 2019-20-71, May Foster Care Month, May 2020. Do I have a motion to approve this resolution, 2019-20-71?
Moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Holguin,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Peden,
Aye.
Dr. Locke.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Mr. Peden, will you please present this resolution?
Absolutely. Tonight, the Board of Education is bringing forward a resolution to recognize the month of May as National Foster Care Month. It is important to note in Moreno Valley Unified School District, we have approximately 700 students who are in the foster care system. We understand that children in foster care face many hurdles and barriers. Therefore, we must take the time to commend the efforts of the foster care liaison and their tireless efforts to ensure that each school site has a foster care counselor to oversee the needs of those students. And we also want to pay tribute to the people who give generously of their time and homes to provide for our foster youth. We support National Foster Care Month, and we recognize and uplift our students in foster care. Further, we urge all schools, centers, departments, and in the entire community to make this a time to acknowledge and celebrate those who make a difference in the lives of children in the foster care system. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Peden. Okay, now moving to resolution E4C, resolution number 2019-20-72, Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, May 2020. Do I have a motion to approve 2019-20-72 resolution?
So moved.
Second,
I'll second it.
roll call, please.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Holguin,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Peden,
Aye.
Dr. Locke.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. I have the honor of presenting this resolution. Tonight, the Board of Education proclaims May 2020 as Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Asian students make up about 4% of our student body and reflect the great diversity of culture and heritage of the many countries of Asia and Pacific Islands. This resolution recognizes that despite the hardships and barriers of the past, the people of Asia and Pacific Islands who came to this country and their descendants have made substantial contributions to California's economy and culture. I am happy for our board to hereby proclaim the month of May 2020 as Asian American and Pacific Islander Month in the Moreno Valley Unified School District. And I'm moving to resolution ED and E4D, resolution number 2019-20-75, the California Day of the Teacher, May 13th, 2020. Do I have a motion to approve resolution 2019-20-75?
So moved.
Second,
I'll second that.
Susan seconded. A roll call, please.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Holguin,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Peden,
Aye.
Dr. Locke.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Ms. Smith, will you please present this resolution?
I'd be happy to. The Moreno Valley Unified School District Board of Education, along with the California State Legislature, designates the second Wednesday in May as the Day of the Teacher. I think this year, especially, we all recognize the unique and specialized skills teachers must possess to meet the diverse and complex needs of today's students and circumstances. Moreno Valley Unified School District is proud of the many successes its students have gained as a result of the dedication and talent of district teachers over the years. This year, our teachers have jumped into distance learning and are leading our students through uncharted waters with dedication and professionalism. Therefore, we are extremely happy to celebrate and observe May 13th, 2020 as the Day of the Teacher.
Thank you, Mrs. Smith. So now moving to E4E, resolution number 2019-20-76, Classified School Employee Week, May 17th through 23rd. I need a motion to approve resolution 2019-20-76.
So moved.
A second, please.
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Holguin,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Peden,
Aye.
Dr. Locke.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Mr. Holguin, will you please present this resolution?
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Locke, for allowing me to present this resolution. This is important to me because I started my career in education as a member of a classified unit many, many years ago. So, I truly appreciate all the work that the classified members in all the different capacities do. And so classified employees support instructional programs and make it possible for teachers to teach and students to learn in a clean, safe, healthy, and high-performing environment. They are instrumental to the success of the educational programs. Through their professionalism and skills, classified school employees contribute to the establishment and promotion of a positive environment for learning and always strive for excellence in all their many jobs. And I have to say that the list of classifications under this area, this group of employees, is just enormous. Nutrition services, transportation, office staff, gardeners, custodians, maintenance, instructional assistants, front office staff, mechanics, sports facilities, people that take care of those, security personnel, and on and on and on. Many different areas that classified staff covers. So thank you very much for that job. And we are extremely happy to celebrate and observe Classified School Employees Week from May 17th to the 21st, 2020. And the Board of Education is happy to sign the resolution along with the superintendent. Thank you, Dr. Locke.
Thank you, Mr. Holguin. Yeah, I have to agree. These were 5 wonderful resolutions that we're honored to present. Okay, I'm now moving to E5, staff responses to public comments made at previous meetings. Dr. Maggiore, do you have any responses?
Yes, Dr. Locke, there is one comment to a comment that was made from the public, and the community member submitted the comment electronically. And I'm going to repeat a little bit just so people understand what I'm responding to. So experts predict a second wave of COVID-19 infection in the fall. What substantial safety measures will the district implement in August when students, teachers, and staff return to school sites? Well, I want to say to the public and to the person who submitted this that we have a lot of uncertainty as far as when students will return. But I do want people to know in our community that disinfecting facilities through the district and school sites is important to our entire community. But I want to read something. I shared this with the board already, but during this recent COVID-19 pandemic, the maintenance and operations team led by Anthony Pipkins has worked to assure that our school sites were cleaned and disinfected to help prevent the possible outbreak or spreading of coronavirus. Many steps have been taken, and the ordering and delivery of Centers for Disease Control and Prevention approved disinfected to all sites this week. All custodians not restricted to having any pre-existing medical conditions work to clean, sanitize, and disinfect all classrooms and school buildings. This was to include the disinfecting of all rooms in every school, pressure washing all outside lunch table areas, detailed cleaning of all restrooms, kindergarten rooms, and special education areas, which included the shampooing of carpets, electrostatic disinfection of all special education, kindergarten, and multi-use areas as well. Multi-purpose rooms, locker rooms, and all areas disinfected. During the current pandemic, COVID-19, the custodial staff's priority was to support the site administration and nutrition services with the district's grab-and-go lunch program. In addition, the custodial department initiated our above-beyond cleaning of all classrooms, such as not limited to high dusting and floor preparation. Currently, custodians are performing essential assignments as needed, including assisting administrators with all kinds of different activities, but paying attention to disinfecting all of our schools on a regular basis. In the coming weeks, the custodial staff will continue to assist the Nutrition Services Department, and the custodians are also set to provide essential assistance to our administrators and teaching staff with the cleaning out of student desks. During this time, our custodial staff will continue the above and beyond cleaning of classrooms, disinfecting beyond what would be expected to a higher level. due to our employee rotation on site, and custodians will be ready to provide any and all staff with the CDC approved disinfectant for use while in their classrooms upon request. I do want the community to know this is a time of uncertainty, and so that how classes will be structured and when we return to school is still unknown. There's lots of conjectures about what may happen, but at this time we're working with the Riverside County Office of Education, Dr. Judy White, superintendent, with all the superintendents, and we're working to make sure that when we do go back, that all of the concerns are addressed. And when you say, will some classes be hybrid and combined with other classroom attendances in other schools, there's a possibility of everything. And so I want you to know that's not an answer you want to know right now, because you want to know something for sure. But right now we have more questions than answers, and we're going to continue to work on this and develop this with our Board of Education and our associations and our community. And we'll be working on this to provide different solutions, because everything's not going to work for everybody. We do appreciate you sending this to us, and we'll continue to use this to inform us as we move forward. Thank you, Dr. Locke.
Thank you, Dr. Fitzgerald. Okay, moving to E6, public comments on agenda items. Since this is our second meeting since the stay-at-home orders were put in place, I'd like to remind the public that we encourage and welcome their participation and comments. During this health pandemic, where we now have nearly 5,200 confirmed cases of COVID-19 and 217 confirmed deaths within our county, we are still following the state's stay-at-home order. The public still has the opportunity to see the board meetings being live streamed, and they can participate. We posted our board meeting agenda on Friday, and the public has had the opportunity to comment electronically on any item or non-agenda item. In an effort to be good public stewards, we believe we have an obligation to look out for the public's health by holding virtual meetings as allowed by executive order. And we are trying to balance that with being a good public agency, which is why we have ensured public comment is still available. At this time, the Board of Education will accept public comments on agenda items electronically only. Any person requesting to speak to any item on the agenda may do so at this time or when the item is addressed by the Board of Education. Individual speakers shall be allowed to speak for 3 minutes on any agenda item. The Board of Education shall limit the total time for public input on each agenda item to 21 minutes. Board Bylaw 9323B, Section 5. Per Board Bylaw 9323, twice the allotted time will be provided to a member of the public utilizing a translator. Do we have any speaker slips?
Dr. Locke, yes, we have one on agenda item, and I will continue to monitor if we get any more.
Okay.
We have a public comment submitted on agenda item E4D, resolution number 2019-2075, California Day of the Teacher, May 13, 2020. For my last time as MVEA president, I, Harold A. Clark, accept this resolution on behalf of the entire MVEA membership. These are strange and trying times that we are working in, and we are working in ways that we could never have imagined a few months ago. Teachers across this planet are making sure that our students are receiving the very best possible education during this crisis. We are appreciative and proud of the praise we have received from this board, our cabinet, our administrators, our certificated and classified colleagues, our students and community. Please allow me to say that it has been a wonderful 8 years as MVEA president. We have won many awards together for our collaborative efforts. Be safe and be well, everyone. I look forward to the coming school year when I will be directly engaging with students in the most important job I believe that anyone can have, a classroom teacher.
Thank you. Now moving on to E7, public comments on non-agenda items. Board of Education will accept public comments on non-agenda items electronically only. The Board of Education encourages public comments. So in this section, staff may briefly respond to statements or questions, or may ask questions for clarification. The board may refer to staff or other resources for factual information, direct staff to report back at a subsequent meeting, and or direct staff to place a topic on a future agenda. If someone wants to lodge a complaint against an employee, the appropriate form may be obtained at any school or the community education center. Individual speakers shall be allowed to speak for a total of 4 minutes on non-agenda items, regardless of the number of issues to be addressed by the individual. The Board of Education shall limit the total time for public input on non-agenda items to 21 minutes. Per Board Bylaw 9323, twice the allotted time will be provided to a member of the public utilizing a translator. With Board of Education consent, the president may increase or decrease the time allowed for public presentation, depending on the topic and the number of persons wishing to be heard. The president may take a poll of speakers for or against a particular issue and may ask that additional persons speak only if they have something new to add. Board Bylaw 9323 B-C, Section 5. Do we have any speaker slips?
Dr. Locke, yes, we have one public speaker slip on non-agenda items.
Thank you.
And again, I will continue to monitor to see if we receive any more.
Thank you.
Non-public agenda item from Rosalina Isais. Due to the pandemic, I believe our district needs to evaluate the way we allocate time for our children to have time for hand washing, especially at the elementary levels. There is no time given to students to wash hands coming from recess to lunch or from recess to class. We have to encourage educating our young children on hygiene and its importance.
Thank you.
I got lost.
Okay, so that's all the public.
Those are all.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, moving to F1. Under board consideration today is the finding that the district's desire to sell 10.08 acres of real property identified as assessor's parcel number 478-100-035 and the assessor's parcel number 478-100-012 is exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act and approve the filing and recording of a notice of exemption. The board welcomes and encourages public comments. Members of the public commenting during this public hearing are asked to limit their comments to 3 minutes so that as many as possible may be heard. Do we have any comments cards?
No comment cards have been submitted.
Okay. Do I close the meeting?
You can open the public hearing now, Dr. Locke, or ask Ms. Lopez for further clarification on the item.
Okay, Ms. Lopez, do you have any comments, any clarification for this item?
You're muted, Susana.
Sorry. Thank you, Dr. Locke. Just a quick overview of the public hearing and then the actual resolution that we are asking for approval. This is in regards to the 10-acre site at the Wilmot Cactus site that we approved the escrow sale agreement at the last meeting. I just want to, a quick recap is that this project does qualify for exemption from the CEQA or California Environmental Quality Act. And this is because of section 15312, which allows for the sale of surplus government property and allows for that exemption.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion to open a public hearing on a finding that the sale of real property identified as assessor's parcel number 478-100-035 and assessor's parcel number 478-100-012 is exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act and approving the filing and recording of a notice of exemption? Do I have a motion?
I move to open the public hearing.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I'll second it.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Holguin,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Peden,
Aye.
Dr. Locke.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Do we have any public comments yet?
No public comments, Dr. Locke, and I will continue to monitor.
So the public hearing is closed at 8:05.
If you can make a motion for the public hearing to close.
I
Okay,
make a motion. I move that we close the public hearing.
okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, now roll call.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Holguin,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Peden,
Aye.
Dr. Locke.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Okay, the public hearing is now closed at 8:06. And now moving to item F2, resolution number 2019-20-67 of the Board of Education of the Moreno Valley Unified School District, finding the sale of district property exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act and approving the filing and recording of a notice of exemption. Ms. Lopez, do you have any additional comments for this item?
The only thing that I would like to add is that with the adoption of this resolution before the board will result in the filing of this notice of exemption from CEQA for the project.
Board members, do you have any questions or comments?
No.
Okay, so do I now have a motion to approve resolution number 19-20-67?
I move we approve resolution 2019-20-67.
Do I have a second?
Second that.
Roll call.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Holguin,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Peden,
Aye.
Dr. Locke.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Okay, now moving to item F3, agenda item F3. This is a time and place designated for the public hearing on the increase of statutory school fees in accordance with Education Code Section 17620 and Government Code Section 65995. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Holguin, Ms. Smith, you're muted, Mr. Holguin,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Peden,
Aye.
Dr. Locke.
Aye. I declare that the hearing is now open. Any written protest been received from any person as to the fee justification report for new residential and commercial industrial development? Do we have any comment cards?
Ms. Smith,
Oh, I'm sorry. No written comments have been received.
Okay, do we have any public comments received for this item?
no public comments as of yet for the hearing, Dr. Locke, but I will continue to monitor.
Okay, so if there are no public comments at this time, I would like to call for a motion to close the public hearing. Do I have a motion to close the
So
hearing?
moved.
Do I have a second?
Second that.
Roll call.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Holguin,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Peden,
Aye.
Dr. Locke.
Aye. So motion carried to close the public hearing carries 5-0. So the public hearing is closed at 8:09. Okay, moving now to item F4, resolution number 2019-20-74 of the Board of Education of the Moreno Valley Unified School District, approving an increase in statutory school fees imposed on new residential and commercial industrial construction pursuant to Education Code Section 17620 and Government Code Section 65995. Ms. Lopez, could you provide pertaining to this item?
Yes, Dr. Locke. So items F3 and F4, both the public hearing and the resolution, present for your consideration an increase to the authorized level 1 fees being collected by the district. These level 1 fees are set by the state every 2 years and are adjusted to reflect the increases in the cost of school facilities construction. The level 1 fee applicable to commercial industrial development is proposed to be set at 66 cents per square foot. These fees would become effective on July 12th, which is 60 days after the adoption. Our district currently collects a level 2 fee for the square foot for new residential development. That's not the subject of tonight's items. A level 2 fee is supported by a separate report, which is the School Facilities Needs Analysis, or SFNA. And that is authorized annually. The board will be presented with a revised SFNA and asked to consider a revised level 2 fee at a later date.
Thank you, Ms. Lopez. Board members, do you have any questions or comments? Okay, do I have a motion to approve resolution number 2019-20-74?
I move we approve resolution number 2019-20-74 as presented.
Do I have a second?
I will second that.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Hogan,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Peden,
Aye.
Dr. Locke.
Aye, motion passes 5-0. And now we're going to move to item G, consent agenda.
I move we approve consent agenda as presented.
Second?
Second that.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Hogan,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Peden,
Aye.
Dr. Locke.
Aye, motion passes 5-0. Okay, now we're moving to item H, future agenda topics. Now, do the board members have some topics that you'd like to have put maybe on a future agenda?
Well, I just have one thing that I would really like to talk about, and I think that we did talk earlier about having an upcoming budget discussion. I would like to see that more in terms of a discussion rather than just a presentation where the board members will get to really look at where we're spending our money and where we're going with our spending, so we can have some focus for the future, because I think we have some probably difficult times ahead, and I think we need to look at that as a board and really get into a discussion of what we can do in the future to help our district be successful. You know, it's always it's my goal, number one, to avoid any layoffs or anything like that. I want our employees to feel confident in their jobs and secure in their future. And going forward, I would just like to have an in-depth board discussion of that.
Okay, thank you. Any other future agenda topics? I have one that is to put on the future board meetings. As of this time, we have down the June 16th and the June 30th meetings are scheduled to be done virtually using Zoom. But I'd like to have on a future topic to discuss, you know, our next meeting will actually be June 16th, but to discuss the, you know, the meetings after the June 30th, you know, how we at that time, due to, you know, what's going on with the health, recommendations, how we want to proceed.
Did you say the health? I didn't understand that.
Yeah, just right now, we have the two, Mr. Johnson, we have the June 16th and the June 30th meetings. We have this scheduled to be done, you know, on Zoom virtually.
Okay.
But beginning July, you know, we need to discuss, you know, those meetings will be following more of the, as we said, we follow the health recommendations because we're concerned about the health and safety.
Yeah, okay.
Employees. So we, at that time, you know, to keep that discussion going as a board discussion item, how we want to proceed with our board meetings.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. I got it, I understand you.
Yeah. So I think one thing to clarify on this topic that when we put down about the agenda topics is, as everyone knows with the Brown Act, you know, the only time we can actually discuss something if it's on the agenda, you know, and like we have phenomenal, like good, you know, presentations, but sometimes we would like to actually have that opportunity, as Ms. Smith said, to actually discuss, you know, to talk about it. And I think, you know, so is there any other thing, you know, anybody would like to have on a future that they can't say exactly what agenda it's going to be on, but coming up in the future? What are some topics that you'd like us to look at putting on the agenda?
I'm glad that you made that statement right now, that you said in the future agenda. It doesn't have to be next time or a couple of meetings from now or so, because I think that I appreciate adding this item to the agenda, and I appreciate Ms. Smith adding the budget, because that's one thing that I was thinking about right now. With what is happening with the financial condition of the state and the nation, I think there's a lot of room for conversations on the budget and what are the next steps for our district and all the districts, in fact, as to the budget and preparation for the next year and the following 2 or 3 years. But I always appreciate getting all the information from Dr. Kitziora, especially on the Friday memos and all the reports that we go through at every meeting. And I think what I was going to say in the immediate future, maybe the next 2 meetings or so, I want to say I will leave it up to the superintendent to bring it up to the agenda what needs to be discussed to move forward with the current conditions and opening school and those kinds of things. And for a future reference, like you said, in future meetings, there may be a couple of items that I would like to discuss, and not that they're not important right now, but we're talking about distance learning and what is going to happen after we come back in the new year. There may have to be some hybrid version of learning in the classroom and online, whatever the case is. So I think that has to be a continuous conversation as to how we support the superintendent, how we support the districts to continue providing those services. I also like to, and I appreciate everybody that's doing work in the different areas, but so there are other areas that I hope that we don't, and I'm sure that we're not forgetting at all, areas such as the athletics, the sports, and the arts, and all those different areas that are happening on the side. I'm hoping that we can continue supporting that, and down the road, we can have a conversation as to what do we do to continue supporting those activities that are, to me, part of the well-rounded education for students. And some of those may be very helpful right now with the social emotional learning that you support tremendously, Dr. Locke. And having sports, having the arts, having all those activities is critical for the students to be, somehow engaged in the learning process. So again, the budget is already mentioned. Arts, athletics in the future, that would be good. And plus whatever the superintendent needs to discuss. Thank you.
And I appreciate what you said. And I think what we do, what's really good is we work collaboratively with Dr. Kitziora, on the future agenda items, because still as a board, we have wonderful information given to us, but sometimes, like I said, it's our only time to actually discuss some of it. But I think we're cautious on not adding more work.
Right. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
The communities ask, they do ask. So, but thank you, Mr. Holgain.
Thank you.
Yes, so I would like to also jump. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to also jump in and just state, just as well as you all have already stated, how I appreciate this item being on the agenda. It gives us an opportunity to talk and have a quick discussion about some of the things that we're thinking about, et cetera, and enter into that dialogue to help kind of, direct as it relates to future agenda items and things of that nature. So a couple things on my mind. I mean, really, I'm aligned with everything everybody else has said in terms of what we're thinking about future items to be in those discussions that we need to have. So I agree with all of the things you have all said. I would like to, and as it relates to what you mentioned, Dr. Locke, in terms of the public comments and what does that look like as we go forward, I would say that we can even maybe, look at this and see if we can even be a little bit more, I don't want to say aggressive, but what I mean is in terms of moving this a little bit faster, in terms of what is our public comments and what do our board meetings look like as it relates to while we're in this crisis, because I think there's a good sense that we may be doing this in terms of these types of meetings for a good amount of time moving forward. So I don't see any reason why we can't really think about how can we add maybe another component in our June meetings if possible. And of course, it would determine how complicated it is to be able to maybe allow folks to be able to call in and have their voice, have their comments heard through a telephone line or even enter the Zoom. I know Moreno Valley City has done some things like this, and there's a lot of models out there. Again, I don't want to add any more work to anybody. I know everybody's extremely busy with all the new things that we're going through in the distance learning and all the things that are on our plate. And I want to be mindful of that. But I would like to have a discussion item on our agenda about what do our board meetings look like moving forward and what are we all comfortable with as it relates to that. Or, maybe there's some models that can be shared with us by Dr. Kizior and his team and cabinet on what that may look like. Summer school has been on my mind, as well as obviously, like all of you, what does next year's look like as it relates to education? So looking at a future agenda item, of course, I know that's all on our minds as well. Having an opportunity, a discussion item, so all of us can also be included into that conversation and have that dialogue. Because I'm sure all of you have had there's a lot of experience here, and I think we should, be a part of that discussion and be able to throw around some ideas and think about this as it relates to our district and what it looks like. I haven't heard anything as it relates to how well our distance learning is doing right now. I think it would be great to be able to see some data, maybe a presentation about how well we're doing as it relates to distance learning, how many young people are signing in, however we're measuring our success as it relates to distance learning. I think that would be a great item to look at in the near future, because it may be that we'll be doing some hybrid or something of that as we move forward in the education of our young people. So I think that'll be important to have that discussion. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Anything else, Mr. Johnson or anybody? Anything you want to add?
No.
Okay, well, thank you for sharing those those ideas. I really appreciate it. Okay, now moving on to item I1, Superintendent. I guess it's your item. It's I1A, approval of resolution number 2019-20-77, federal education funding. Dr. Kizior, will you share information about this item?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Locke. This is for the Federal Emergency Management Agency, and this resolution makes it so that we can apply for emergency funding that will become available once this pandemic has ended. We are receiving different funding sources. However, we know that in discussion, we feel like that may not be enough. And so anything that we're eligible to apply for, we should be, doing so. And so I have asked Susanna Lopez to make sure that they filled out the intent to apply, which you did. And so now this is part of the process so that you, the board, acknowledges we're in an emergency and that we pass this resolution so that when we are able to apply for this emergency funding, we are able to. And that would, of course, depend upon when the emergency has been deemed over with. But in the meantime, we are calculating our expenses, and we are making sure that we are using the resources that we have. But we also know that we're using resources that may be used for other things at this time, but because of the emergency, they become a priority. And again, you can't double dip when you get refunded for the other items like the CARES Act and the the LEA money that we got. We can't, claim those expenses, but we believe that moving forward, there will be additional expenses. And so this resolution is extremely important in being able to, make sure that we're able to apply for them once we're able to. Because without it, even everyone says everyone's going to apply for them, but I say, well, we should too. And so that's the important part of this, and that's what allows us to do this by passing this resolution.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Kizior. Board members, do you have any questions or comments pertaining to this item?
I'd just like to say, even if everybody's applying, if you don't apply, you're not going to get anything. So let's go for it.
That's what I say.
That's this is one example, one good example of something that the superintendent needs to bring to the agenda so that we can, have the discussion and hopefully move forward and support this item, because this is critical for the budget piece that we're looking for. And I think applying for this item, it's critical for the district, and the earlier the better, because that way we're in good position to get the funding that it's needed for the district.
Yeah, and I think that's why he brought it up, to make sure we get attention.
Exactly. That's great. So I'm supporting. If you're looking for a motion, I'm ready to make a motion.
Okay, yes, I'm ready. I'm looking for a motion. Do I have a motion to approve? Okay, got a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, roll call, please.
Give me 1 second. Sorry.
Nope.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Holguin,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Peden,
Aye.
Dr. Locke.
Aye, motion passes 5-0. Okay, now moving to item I2A 2018-20 COVID-19 graduation requirement amendment. Mrs. Maddox, would you please share information pertaining to this amendment?
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to discuss our graduation requirements in Moreno Valley Unified School District. I think we're all aware that the COVID-19 has really affected our students currently and also in their future in the areas of academics, social, emotional, and economic in those areas. Because of this, institutions, colleges across the state have begun to really develop flexibility in regards to their admission requirements, to their college entrance requirements. I think you know that both the University of California and the California State University systems have taken the steps to greatly ease some of their admissions requirements for the fall of 2020 and beyond. In addition, private institutions have also looked at their admission requirements, and because of the impact of COVID-19, also have shown flexibility in that. Staff is requesting tonight for the board to consider looking at our graduation requirements and also looking at some flexibility by lowering our graduation requirements to 185 units, which is a reduction of 40 elective credits. This is in accordance with the minimum state requirements listed under Ed Code 5125.3, and it will not negatively impact the students who are completing their A through G. Due to the school closures that began March 16th, the spring semester has been disrupted. It has been affected by the COVID-19. This is a temporary action for the class of 2020 and shall affect the requirements, the graduation requirements in our traditional and alternative high schools to have the reduction of the 40 elective credits. I think it's important that we consider this for the students of the class of this graduating class who are in danger of not receiving their high school diploma due to the challenges that they have faced, that their families have faced with the COVID-19. And we are requesting that the board consider this reduction in graduation requirements, this amendment for this graduation class only at this time.
Can I ask a question?
Thank you, Ms.
Yeah, any questions or comments?
Yeah, so how will this affect students who are in our alternative schools like Mavoa and March Mountain, where they're working instead of on a semester basis, they're really working in 6-week segments, and they have lost this entire last 6 weeks. They can't just go back and say, we're going to take your grades as of March, because they haven't done that last 6-week segment, and maybe they had a required class in that 6 weeks. How will those students be affected?
I think this graduation, looking at the 185, will really help them because, currently our graduation requirements are at 225.
Yeah.
So looking at this and these, the 185 credits, that covers our core classes. It covers our A through G, and it covers the state minimum graduation requirements.
Mm-hmm.
So I really believe for the students in alternative ed, this would really, really help them.
Yes, that's the way I interpreted what you were saying about that.
Okay, so since this covers like the elective credits, but if we have students that have not fulfilled a core, graduation like an English class, what's the plan for those students? Because they won't qualify. I mean, this won't necessarily help them to that degree.
Yeah, if you were going to March Mountain and you had one English class left to take in this last 6-week segment, and you've totally missed that, how's that gonna?
Well, I think this is,
helpful.
yes. So, the counselors have been working with our students to make sure that they're in the appropriate classes to graduate. That has continued. But our students must also pass these core classes. And so these credits do come from the elective credits, but those students are scheduled in those classes as we speak. And also we are going to have summer school for those students that still need that. But I think looking at graduation credits under the circumstances that our students have faced, especially our seniors right now, will be very helpful to them, considering, all the different student groups that we have in our district.
So for those students, that are lacking for some reason an English class, that maybe a freshman or sophomore English or a senior, but they've never taken that class, they still have the option, don't they, right now, of taking a credit recovery?
Correct. We
so
still offer
do that right now.
So in distance learning, we still offer credit recovery.
Yeah,
we do.
So they up that core class.
Yes.
Because we have, there's a lot of students sometimes that, they've taken the electives because they like the electives, but they
Correct.
started taking all the core requirements. So those are the ones that I was concerned about. They still have that option of, working a little hard right now and getting those.
Or maybe they took it previously and didn't pass it. Now they had planned to take it one more time, make up those credits in these last few weeks, and then they don't have it.
Exactly.
Well, they have that option right now with credit recovery and distance learning. So we want to make sure that as we look at the credits, they also have to meet the state minimum requirements,
right,
and also the A through G.
So it's nice. We got on both ends. We got the kids covered.
Correct.
On both sides, to help them in this situation. So, and any other questions or comments?
No, and I didn't want my comment to sound negative. I'm in favor of it. I just was thinking of those students that maybe don't have the A through G.
Yeah, I was the same thing. So we've got both things covered. That's great. Else?
I think it is important to note that even with the reduction of the 40 elective credits, the district is still in compliance with the requirements established by the Ed Code for probation. So that's a great thing for the students that are being affected by this whole situation. That it's a benefit for them, I guess, in a way, but in the other way is they're still meeting the requirements. So they're still graduating validly. So that's a good thing, and I am fully supportive of this too.
Yeah. Okay.
I had a quick. So I'm in favor, and Maribel, thank you for bringing this forward. Dr. Kidziora and Cabinet and everybody for making this happen. This is very timely, obviously. Quick question. I guess it expands within this conversation, and this is about making seniors whole, right, so they can graduate. But what about the students that are, in grades 11, 10, 9 that are still, operating in the credit system, and we know that they're going to need they're going to have to make up some credits because there's a lot they've missed out on as well. So we look at how that moving in the next, 2 to 3 years. Are we starting to think about how do we make them whole as well?
We are. I think this is a start, by looking at the current graduation class, but also we need to evaluate. Everybody's been affected by this. And so I think that's something that we will monitor and continue, and might come back to look at our board policy on graduation.
Got it. Thank you.
Mr. Pete, I wanted to add, thank you, Maribel. We could have brought other classes to you tonight.
Right.
We've done an analysis of our students, and we know what needs to be done. This, of course, is important to this class right now to make sure after we do summer school and some other distance learning, we're going to take another look at what's needed. We may, like Maribel said, come back to you because I could have brought, I just want you to know, all 4 years of who were in high school, but we decided at this time just to focus on this class and then keep doing evaluation of students and looking at what the needs are.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? If not, do I have a motion to amend the graduation requirements for Curtin High School students who shall graduate in 2020?
I move that we approve the graduation requirements amendment as presented.
Thank you. A second?
I'll second that.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Holguin,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Peden,
Aye.
Dr. Locke.
Aye. Motion passes 5. Moving to item I2B, approval of Head Start self-assessment. Ms. Maggs, this is your item, please.
As part of the Head Start federal guidelines, Head Start needs to do a self-assessment on all the different components. It is a tool that we use to improve the program, and we need your approval to go ahead and submit the self-assessment for the 2019-2020 school year. Please note that all of the findings have been remedied, and there's a plan of action with timelines on how to do that. Self-assessment tool got a 96% compliance. The county, they recommend 93, and we were at a 96%. So we'd like to ask your approval to submit the Head Start assessment.
Are there any questions or comments? If not, do I have a motion to approve the 2019-2020 Head Start self-assessment as presented?
I move that we approve the 2019-2020 Head Start self-assessment as presented.
Second? Mr. Rubin, did you?
Yes, second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Holguin,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Peden,
Aye.
Dr. Locke.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Now moving to I2C, the approval of the Head Start grant application. Mrs. Maddox.
Now requesting board approval to submit the actual Head Start grant application for our district to continue to offer these services, free and subsidized preschool programs and resources to meet the needs of our students. Head Start classes are at 4 of our elementary sites: Armada, Butterfield, Edgemont, and Rainbow Springs, and would like board approval now to submit our application for funding.
Any questions or comments? Okay, do I have a motion to approve the Head Start application for 2020-21?
So moved.
Second, please.
I'll
Second that.
Roll call.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Holguin,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Peden,
Aye.
Dr. Locke.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Now moving to I3A, resolution number 2019-20-69, establish temporary interfund transfer. Ms. Lopez, can you explain information pertaining to this item?
I will. Thank you, Dr. Locke. This resolution would give us the ability to transfer or do interfund transfers, which simply means is we would be borrowing cash from one of our district funds to another. So we would monitor the cash flow, and if needed, we would have that ability to move cash between one fund and the other. And there on the resolution, you can see the funds that have been listed for approval.
Are there any questions or comments pertaining to this item?
So just for clarification, this doesn't mean that you're doing the transfer. It's just an emergency or in case it is needed.
That is correct.
So it's not needed at this time.
Correct. And we don't anticipate it to be needed in the near future, but we want to make sure we have this in place.
And this resolution is pretty much standard. We do it every year.
Yeah.
It's an annual resolution, yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, do I have a motion to approve resolution number 2019-20-69 as presented?
So move.
Second,
I'll second that.
okay, and roll call, please.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Hoageen,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Peden,
Aye.
Dr. Locke.
Aye, motion passes 5-0. Now moving to I3B, resolution number 2019-20-64 of the Board of Education of the Moreno Valley Unified School District, approving and authorizing the execution of a joint community facilities agreement and delegating authority related thereto. Ms. Lopez, can you share information pertaining to this item?
Yes, thank you. On November 12th, 2019, the Board of Education took action to form a CFD, or Community Facilities District 2019-2. That resolution took place with a public hearing as well as a special tax election. So this evening, we're looking to approve the agreement, which would be in terms with that formation proceeding between the district, the owner, Eastern Municipal Water District, EMWD, and entering into this joint community facilities agreement, or JCFA. And you can see that the agreement is attached for review, and the negotiations now between the district, EMWD, and the owner having completed, and the CFD and board will now consider approval of this JCFA this evening. And just want to mention that earlier today, the CFD approved this same agreement.
Thank you, Ms. Lopez. Do we have any questions or comments pertaining to this item? If I don't, do I have a motion to approve resolution 2019-20-64 as presented?
So move.
Second?
I'll second. I was waiting on Pete.
I was waiting for you, CJ.
Hey, it's okay. If somebody else wants to take it, I'm fine with it. Doesn't matter.
Well, I was even thinking about doing it, but that's okay. Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Hoageen,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Peden,
Aye.
Dr. Locke.
Aye, motion passes 5-0. Okay, now we have come to item J, comments from board members and superintendent. Mr. Johnson, would you like to start, or whoever wants to start?
Okay, yes, I don't mind starting. The first thing is, you know, I've got to acknowledge our superintendent. I'm sure all of us had an opportunity to watch him audition to be a movie star, as he was on local TV the other day. I'm not sure how many superintendents we have in this entire area, but that really doesn't matter. The thing is, there's a superintendent in Moreno Valley that was on, and he was giving his opinion, and I mean, I was very happy to see that, and not only to see him, but also to hear what he had to say, because every time he speaks about education, it's going to always be beneficial to anybody who's listening. And you can tell that the moderator really enjoyed hearing him and hearing his thoughts on education and how he felt about what was going on today. So I just wanted to make sure I acknowledge him and let him know that we are very proud of him, but we were very proud when we saw him on our color TV the other day. So Dr. Maggiore, congratulations, keep up good work. And not only that, I don't know what else he did that day, but I do know one other thing. He joined in the conference call that Mr. Jesus Hoageen heads, and he spent some time on that call as well, imparting some important information to our group. So again, Dr. Maggiore, I know you were busy that Saturday, but thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule or your off time, although I don't think you have off time, because it seems like to me you're always working. But thank you so much for those two showings that we saw the other day. And I know I said to myself, not to you guys, that I was going to go by and visit more schools, and I didn't. But I did go to one school, and my intentions was just to stop by and wave and keep going. But y'all know my name is Johnson, and that was hard to do. So when I was sitting in my car talking, I was urged to get out, and that was a mistake. Now, I didn't get too close, but then when I did get out, I think I must have spent at least 15 or 20 minutes with our wonderful service. But the whole point is, really appreciate the hard work that those people put in day in and day out for our students and families as well, because quite a few families brought their kids to get their meals. But those people that were serving, and have to watch what I say, took some time out when there were no kids coming to talk to me. So I really appreciate that. But the bottom line is, we've got some wonderful, wonderful people that dedicate their time and their lives really to this district. Because those that I talked to the other day, I'm telling you, they were very happy of the work that they were doing. One last thing, I also like to thank all of the employees that, especially the district people, I do pass by, and I don't always count the cars, but I look at the number of cars that I see. I don't stop. I just, go in, do a U-turn and come back out. But I do know there are folks that are working, and just want to make sure that if they're listening, I want them to know that we appreciate them for coming out like that and doing the work that they know that is so important to our families, our students, and our entire district. So from the bottom of my heart, I thank them. And I don't go by late at night very much, because I already know if I do that, I know I'm going to see this little black car. So I don't go by, so I don't have to see it. But I know that car is still there. So Dr. Kessier, again, thank you so much. I know it's quiet time and you can get a lot done, when there's nobody else around. So thank you for doing that. And thank everybody for all of the support that you've given to the folks in our community and to each other. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Mr. Hogan?
Yeah, when you watch Dr. Kessier on TV and you're not seeing him face to face, now it feels like, when am I going to see this person so I can get his autograph or something? But he did an excellent job on the TV station with that interview. So thank you, Dr. Kessier. So I want to say thank you for setting up the meeting tonight. The agenda was really good, and I know it's a lot of work to put the meetings normally, together, and then putting it together in this way so that we all have the opportunity to be, discussing these items and looking at the documents, and it feels very good. It feels very comfortable having this format. And I understand the issue with the public comments. So I'm sure that there's a way that we can work with that particular issue. But at the same time, I want to say to the community members that I truly appreciate their patience, because this is not normal, as we know. It's the new normal, as many people are calling it. So my appreciation for their patience and for understanding that this has to be done this way for now, temporarily. Hopefully we can go back to a better normal soon. Not only for the board meetings, but also for all the students, so they can go back to their classrooms, to their activities, and to all the things that they're missing because of these conditions. And also I want to say thank you to all the parents, also because of being so patient as we move through this process. But there's a lot of people in the district that are really going the extra mile to make sure that the students get what they need. We talked about the nutrition services department a lot of times already. We talk about transportation a lot of times already. But we also have an entire force of teachers, educators, certificate personnel that are going through a lot of training, a lot of professional development. And, it's, we saw the number of hours earlier, thousands of hours of professional development so that the services can be provided to the students and hopefully, they don't lose as much. And yet, decisions like the one tonight to loosen up the requirements a little bit so that they can still benefit from that and be graduated, those that are graduated, and then thinking that we're going to look at the other grades down the road so that all the students, are covered, per se, on those areas. So thank you to the community. Thank you to the entire team. Not only the certificate staff, but also the classified people that are, starting to go back to the schools and cleaning and providing the meals and the maintenance and the gardens and all the different areas. And I know the team it's outstanding. If they're not out there, they are in the computer and they're doing all kinds of things for students. So I'm truly grateful for everything that is happening. And then, we have to also recognize all the administrators that have been there every single day and making sure everything runs smoothly. And then speaking about the teachers, tomorrow is the day of the teacher. It was mentioned already. Tomorrow being the day of the teacher, I want to say congratulations to all the teachers and thank you for everything that you teachers do, getting prepared, getting trained, and getting all that education in all those areas that then you share with your students, regardless of the grade. You are there for the students every day and many times, even weekends, evenings, and all the time to be ready for the next day and ready for the students. And many times it's not just the academics, but also listening to the students and their conditions and their situations. So thank you for all that work of the teachers, especially tomorrow on the day of the teacher. And also, since I'm in the thank you mode, thank you to the community organizations that have been still in continuous communication with the district, still ready and available to provide services and support to the students, support to the school district, the superintendent, the cabinet, but support to the students because they truly understand, the needs of the students, and they are willing to be out there and supporting the students and doing whatever is needed so that the students feel, as close as possible as the normal. And there, there's a lot of organizations out there that are providing meals, they're providing support, they're providing all kinds of things and services so that not only the students, but the entire community gets all those things that are needed so badly this time. And I want to say congratulations to all those people that were recognized tonight by Dr. Katsura at the beginning of the meeting in his report. And not only congratulations for being recognized, but big thank you for what they're doing. I believe those are just some examples of all the many different actions that a lot of people are taking these days. Comes out of their heart, comes out of naturally, because that's the way they are. They want to be out there supporting people, doing things that are totally out of the ordinary to make sure that whoever needs assistance, whoever needs support, whoever needs company and an ear, they are there. So congratulations and thank you to all those people there. Mr. Johnson mentioned about the call on Saturday. I thought that my colleagues had all received the invitation for the call on Saturday, but it's a conversation that we have with board members. So you're welcome to join again this coming Saturday. We're going to have the conference call at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I'll be glad to.
What time?
8 o'clock in the morning this Saturday. I'll be glad to share with you the information so you can get in at 8 o'clock this morning, because there is another meeting with CSBA at 10 o'clock. So we're going to make it short and then move on. But we'll make sure that you get the information so that you can join the call. And then, the item of the budget. We already talked about the budget, and there's a lot of conversations to be taking place. But I appreciate the information that Susana Lopez is putting together and is working with her team. And I know it's a challenge with not everybody being in the office. Some are there, some are not. But thank you for keeping an eye on all those areas so that the money doesn't go away right away, but it's there. And then all the applications this evening for funding, those are critical. Last thing I want to mention is I am so thankful that the seniors that are going to graduate, even when they're not going to have the recognition and all the areas that they were expecting, all these years and the families and all those things, they're still going to be recognized in many different ways, as Dr. Katsura mentioned earlier. And the one thing, just one example, I think it is outstanding that the stadiums are, the lighting of the stadiums is on every Friday at 8 o'clock. And for 20 minutes in honor of the seniors that are graduating this year. And the banners that they're going to receive and the signs and all those areas. It's just, unfortunately these things happen, but we are extremely proud of our seniors that are graduating this year, and of all the students. But the seniors, please know that I wish, and all of us wish, that we could celebrate with a big graduation, and hopefully down the road we can do something that will mean as much as the graduation ceremony. So with that, thank you so much for the agenda. Thank you for the items that were included and for allowing the voice of all members. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Olguin. Mrs. Smith?
Yes, I'd like to say I saw several things in Dr. Kadziora's presentation that I was impressed with. First, I'd like to say, though, that Mr. Peden said something about public comments. I would also like to see a way that we could do some in-person live public comments, whether it is people phoning in or if we had a microphone outside that people could approach and be videoed to give their comments, something that we could do so that people will be able to give their comments in person and not to have those comments read by another person. I know when you say something, the way you say it, your tone, your inflection, your personality comes through in a way that it doesn't come through when somebody else is reading it for you. So I hope that before the next meeting, which will be on Zoom, that we could look at, and I know Dr. Kadziora is already doing this, look at some ways to get some comments in person. Also, I was impressed with the Adopt a Senior program. I haven't heard of this at any other district. I think it's unique to our district. I love it. And if you want to do that, I think you can find it. Can you find a link to that on the district website, Dr. Kadziora?
Yes, it's on Facebook, Instagram, and you can go to our in our emails that we have to the families. We put the link on there on how to do it.
Okay,
in the communication that we do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Right. So if you're out there and you would like to adopt a senior, you don't have to be a parent of a senior. You can be anybody in the community who wants to do something for a senior in high school that might be having a difficult time right now. This is a chance for everybody to pitch in and do something for those students. And I appreciate this program. I also appreciate the fact that Dr. Kadziora and the staff has worked so hard on our Chromebooks for all. We used to have Chromebooks 3rd grade and up. Now every student in this district, even TK students, have Chromebooks. And I know there's been a lot of work for the staff, and I really appreciate all that they've done to get these Chromebooks out and available for all of our students. I'd like to say again, I said last time, another thank you to nutrition services and the grab and go lunches and the breakfast foods. This is a time of food insecurity for more of our students than have ever faced this before. We always have a certain number of students where their meal of the day is the meal they get at school. And to have this continue and to have kids be able to eat during this difficult time. I saw a mother on TV. She said, I don't know whether I should pay my rent or buy food for my kids. Well, you know, here in Moreno Valley, maybe they don't have to make that choice because we have food for their kids available right here at MVUSD. So thank you for that. And to all the people that are working so hard on that, the principals that are out there every day, helping those nutrition services people. I also would like to shout out a big thank you to our teachers and professional development people. I know how hard they've worked to get this online learning going, and it gets better and better every day. On Dr. Kadziora's little presentation on Sunday, he gave them an A-, but said it could be an A+ tomorrow. So it's getting better every day. I know I talk to people who are teachers and professional development specialists, and they also tell me it's getting better and better all the time. That things are going more smoothly. People are being more comfortable with the format. So I'd like to say thank you to all of those people working so hard on this. And also I saw Dr. Kedziora on Sunday on television, of course, and if you missed that, I think you can link to that on our district website. If you didn't see him on Sunday, you still have a chance to see that. He did an outstanding job as usual of representing our district. So thank you to Dr. Kedziora and to everyone who's working so hard. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Smith. Mr. Peden.
I got a helicopter over my house here. Well said, Ms. Smith, and everyone else. I just want to, on record, I agree with everything everybody has said. I won't repeat it all because that would be redundant. But I remember weeks ago we were at 200 lunches and meals that we gave out. Now we're over 800,000. What an accomplishment! That's a big deal. I also want to, direct some attention to Claudia. Claudia, you're a rock star. And so, I think there's plenty of thanks to go around. You do so much for this district, so much for this community, and so much for us as board members, and I'm sure Cabinet and Dr. Kedziora. So I just want to extend that to you and say thank you for everything that you do, because it's a big deal. And I know the other day we had an emergency meeting, and I think it was your day off or something. And am I correct? I think that's right, right?
There's no days off.
There you go. So,
but thank you.
Yes, absolutely. So I just wanted to extend that out there. And that's all I have to say. I think we're in unprecedented times, and I just want to let all of you know that I have confidence in every single one of you and everybody that works in this district and our community, that we're gonna get to where we need to be, and it's gonna be good. So we're just gonna keep working and keep making it happen. And thank you for everything that everybody does in this district and all the work that you all do, given the circumstances that we're in. Many of you are working from home, and I understand what that feels like. I work from home, and my wife's been working from home for some time, and I have 2 young children that are in school and homeschooling and all of that. Meanwhile, some of you are working from home, and you're running a huge district with 33,000 students. So it's a big undertaking. So thank you for everything that you all do in the middle of a health crisis. So I'll just leave it at that.
Thank you, Mr. Peden. And like you said, I agree with everything everyone has said. Just a couple of key things is, again, Dr. K represented our district wonderfully on TV. And it was really nice that he asked the parent, Miss Mary, to join him. And if anybody wants to missed it, I taped it. In fact, I taped the 9 o'clock and the 12 o'clock. I'm saving it. But the one thing that I acknowledge is, number one, we're very blessed and we have great employees. And the one thing that, keeping, I wrote myself some notes, and when there's so many things that have been done, and there's so many, I know there's a lot of things in the future they're working on, but thank you, Dr. Kedziora, for your leadership, cabinet, all of our employees. And one thing that I thought I wrote down, keywords that it takes, in Dr. Kedziora is masterful. It's building those relationships and collaboration. In order to do this, and the way I think we can succeed, and that we are succeeding, is he's pulling all the stakeholders, from, the certificated, the classified union, the management, district office people, and our site administrators, because that's their school. These are those kids, and so, and it's so much work. And as Mr. Johnson says, I'm not sure Dr. Kedziora ever goes home. I'm surprised he doesn't have, a closet and stuff at his office. But again, I want to thank everybody. And I also want to just let the Moreno Valley community know, that overall, I'm proud of this community, because if you venture out and you go to a store safely, with your mask on and social distance and all that, I'm seeing people where they're wearing their masks. They're practicing social distance. People, they want to stay healthy. They want the community to stay healthy. So I just want to thank, our parents. I'm seeing kids wearing their masks. I'm just, and everyone. And I think as a district, we're setting a wonderful, phenomenal example, of our priority is keeping people safe and we're educating. And I think we're stand out at the top of the districts on how we approach distance learning. And like Dr. Kadzior, he gave himself an A-, but I'm telling you, if you look at how, much work has had to be done, in user scale, we are at the top. We have more things to do, but daggone, we've done a lot. And I just want to applaud all of our employees for making this happen. And that's it. Dr. Kadzior, you're on.
So I want to thank everybody. I want to thank you, Dr. Locke, for your leadership. And I know people say, we thank people all the time. You hear a lot of thanking. But if we didn't like each other, I don't think we'd be thanking each other. And I think that's good modeling that for the community to know that we all work together well. And so it's important for us to thank each other and to know how much it matters what we do. And, I agree with you, Daryl Peden. Claudia Harrogate is amazing. And, I appreciate you saying that because, anytime I call her or I need her here, she's amazing support, and we're so lucky to have her. So you're right. There's so many people, but I do want to thank Maribel Maddox and Susanna Lopez and Dr. Verdi because, I being a superintendent, you don't do it alone. You have a team of people that support you, and I'm not going to lie. I'm demanding. I want people to, have accuracy and to get the results and everything. So I value what they contribute and their teams, each of them, because they rise to a challenge and we have been tested through this. And so I want everyone to know that we're just really proud of the employees, but I'm so proud of the students who continue to enter these contests and be motivated and keep doing things that make their community proud of them and make themselves, shine brighter. I want you to know I was fortunate that Fox News selected two superintendents, one from San Bernardino County and one from Riverside County. And, of course, I want you to know the news knows us. And so they are very kind to us, they're very considerate. And the LA Times called me the other day and they wanted to talk to me about, what I thought about distance learning. So there's going to be a story about that. So Daryl, one of the things you said, how do we know it's working? And that's something that we continue to examine. Like I told the LA Times, we had to get Chromebooks for all of our kids. That was a priority. We had to get teachers trained in distance learning. We had to get families. And this is still something. I ran into a parent today, and she told me, I've got 4 kids. That she works at Stater Brothers. Our kids go to Sugar Hill. And she said, Dr. Kadziora, I'm trying to organize my life so I can help my kids and work and everything. And so, there's a lot of different demands on people. And so when I told the LA Times, the success of this is not always measured in the students who log in, but it's what families do with their children and how they're able to cope with all of the demands of their own life and helping them be comfortable. But just so you know, and this is something I've looked at, 85% of our kids are having some type of login. And we're still measuring that and looking at that. But, we see more at the elementary than we do at the secondary. And I want you to know TK students and kindergarten students are more excited about having a Chromebook than the other kids are. And kids that are born today, the first thing they touch sometimes is their parents' iPad or their iPhone, and they learn to work with these. Yeah. So I think what's valuable here is that I want to thank Susanna and her team, the technology innovation and assessment team, because we realize that in this environment, but also moving forward, that this is going to transform how students learn in Moreno Valley Unified School District and how people teach. And so I think it gives us some new opportunities that we hadn't really known before. And the other thing I want the public to know is I do want to thank Jolynn Neal and Harold Acord and Selena Joyner, because we do have our Teachers Association and our Classified Association. And one of the things it takes is all of us using our expertise to help each other make sure that students get what they need. And so, you know, that's valuable. And when you have great working relationships in a district, you can accomplish things in spite of the obstacles. I also want you to know that Dr. White, to the public, has put together a task force. She's asked every district to nominate or assign or ask 6 people or more to be part of a joint task force for the reopening of schools. Because we know that when we reopen schools and whenever date it is, that it's not going to look the same possibly, and it's probably not going to be the date we thought it was going to be. So we have to really look at that. And I called each of these people and I asked them if they would join in this effort. The first meeting is next Monday from 3 to 4:30 on a Zoom, and there'll be subsequent meetings. But Selena Joyner, who is our CTA executive director, she'll be representing certificated staff. JoLynn Neal will be representing classified staff. Nautica Neal, she's our Management Association president, will be representing management. Candy Jonathan will be one of our nurses, and she'll be representing health and our nurses. Alexis Puente will be a student that's on there from Valley View High School, and Mrs. Neri, who's the PTA president that you saw maybe on Sunday, she'll be representing parents on there. Susanna Lopez will be on there as a district representative along with myself, and we'll be reporting back to the board, working with our board, what we discover on there. There'll be discussions, and Dr. White asked all 23 superintendents to have representation on this task force, and so I called each of these people and asked them if they would commit. And I don't think I called Susanna, but I told her. But the rest of them I called. And, you know, it's important to have this, everybody's going to have different ideas. And I know people want to know what's going to happen, but we don't know what's going to happen right now. So we have to plan for different ways of addressing schooling. And then I want you to know, board members, that what I was on Saturday, what Jesus did with CSBA, and then there's another one, Jesus, I think you said it's on Thursday at 1 o'clock. Is that right?
Yes.
So board members, they've invited superintendents to be on there, but it's a dialogue about what we're all experiencing. And so it's an opportunity for you to talk to other board members about what's happening in our district schools and our county. And so these are wonderful ways and methods to share information and to get information. So I was really glad. Thank you, Ms. Trogan, for asking me to be on there on Saturday, even though it was early. And I appreciated that you were thinking of me and wanted me to be on there. So yeah, thank you. And I just want to say that we really care about our children. And I want the seniors to know we are working on a plan to, in the meantime, have something that recognizes you as seniors and graduates. We don't have that in place yet, but we are working on it. And I want you to know that we have not canceled graduation, that we have postponed it until it is safe to do so. And that may be at a different time and date, but we are working on that. And sometimes people want these answers quicker, but there's so much that has to be considered before we move forward with certain things. And this is a changing, situation. And so we have to continue to get information so that you maintain safety and we maintain your safety. And we don't ever want to jeopardize or compromise the safety of our young people or our staff or our community. So we take this very seriously. And so I just want to say, Dr. Locke, I hope you have a wonderful birthday, the rest of it. And thank you for your leadership and our Board of Education being our president during this time and supporting all of us with our voice and what we need to get done. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. With no further business to come before the Board of Education, the meeting is adjourned at 9:14. Thank you. Have a nice evening.